Out of all the crazy things that I've had happen to me in my lifetime, the story I'm about to share with you guys ranks among the top three. So we originally lived in South Carolina. That's where we were born and raised, our family. Uh, and we've moved since then. But my daughter's grandmother, she still lived in South Carolina. And she passed away in 2022. And she actually passed away on my granddaughter, who at that time had just turned 8. She passed away on her birthday. And I forgot to mention that it's their grandmother on their father's side of the family. So their dad's mom. They hadn't seen her in several years just because of circumstances and work and finances and different things. You know, they kept in contact, but they hadn't actually seen her in a couple of years. But to tell you a little bit about their grandmother, because it's relevant to the story, she, back in the day, was a huge Elvis fan. She used to, back when Elvis toured and all that, like she followed him, her and her friend Barbara followed him everywhere. You know, they'd go to Graceland and different places, and they had all kind of Elvis memorabilia. She had a big trunk in her closet just jam-packed full of any and everything to do with Elvis. So after their nanny passed away, that's what they called the grandma nanny. After their nanny passed away, they had told their dad, you know, can you please get us something of nanny's that we can have, you know, to hold on to, just a keepsake, you know. And their dad, due to circumstances that were going on with the estate and things between him and other family members, my daughters did not get anything of hers. They weren't able to get anything, and they were heartbroken. So my heart just broke for my daughters because, you know, it just was so upsetting to them that they weren't able to get anything of their nannies. And so what I started doing was every time I would go yard selling or just anywhere, if I saw something Elvis, I would get it for them because I knew that it would remind them of their nanny. And like I said, she loved Elvis. I mean, till the day she died, she loved Elvis. She was one of his biggest fans, her and her best friend Barbara. And I keep mentioning Barbara because she's relevant to this story, but that was their nanny's best friend. So this happened about a year or so ago. I was at the Goodwill bookstore. And as usual, before I leave, I always check to see if I see anything Elvis and if it's something that I'd like to get for them. So I was walking up to the front of the store, and out the corner of my eye, on the shelf where they have like magazines and records and things, I see a whole pile of Elvis records, and I'm like, no freaking way. So I like beeline it over there. So once I get over there and I start looking through these records, on the back of one of these records, and this is the most insane thing. Okay, so on the back of one of these records is written, Linda, bring to the front with you, Barbara. And I'm like, no freaking way. Is this even possible that this can be the same? Because their nanny's name is Linda. And like I said, her best friend's name was Barbara. And I'm like, there's no freaking way that this is the same Linda and Barbara. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, Linda lived in South Carolina. Barbara, her best friend, lives in North Carolina in the mountains. I've never met Barbara, but I've heard about her so many times throughout the years and seen pictures of her and Linda, you know, and they're going to all the Elvis concerts and them at Graceland, you know, sitting out on the lawn waiting to just see if they can get a glimpse of Elvis. And I'm just my mind is going crazy, thinking like, is it possible? Is this even freaking possible that this is one of Linda's records? Because like I said, my daughters didn't get anything of hers from the estate, and a lot of Linda's stuff, their nanny's stuff was sold and given to Goodwill. And the insane thing is, they did all that. They sold a lot of stuff. They gave it to Goodwill, but my daughters didn't get anything. So immediately when I get in the car, I call both my daughters and I tell them, you're never going to believe what I just found. And I tell them about what's written on the back of the record. Linda, bring to the front with you, Barbara. And they're like, Mama, do you think that could be Nanny? That could be one of Nanny's records that, was given to Goodwill? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, but I said, I'm going to try to find out. And so what I did was I go on Facebook and I look up Barbara. And like I said, I've never met Barbara, but I knew of her. And Barbara knew of me from Linda. Because me and their daddy, were married many years. But anyway, so I find Barbara on Facebook. And I write Barbara this long message. I tell her who I am, and I'm telling her the story of finding this record, and I send her a picture of the back of the record. And you are never gonna believe, I could not believe it. I could not believe it. She said, yes, that is my writing. And yes, I did write that to Linda. And I'm like, the odds of that are freaking astronomical. Linda lived in South Carolina. We live in Florida. She passed away in 2022. This was 2024. And of all the places for me to be that day, and all the Goodwills, because I go Goodwill, flea market, yard sale. My mama used to be an antique stealer, so I grew up doing all those things. I do the same things here in Florida. And the odds of me being at that Goodwill where that record was on that day, and out of all the Elvis records, none of the other Elvis records had anything written on them, just that one. Just that one had writing on the back. But it's like their nanny meant for that to be there so I could find it to give to them. Like, it's just crazy. That is the most craziest, insane thing that happened to me, and I could not believe it. And it was like she was giving them something from the other side. It was a gift to her granddaughters from her, saying, hey, here's something of mine for you. But I'm going to show y'all this record really quick. Hold on. My time's about to run out on this video, but this is the one record that had the writing on the back. And this is the writing. And I know it's probably turned to where you can't really read it, but that's the writing. And I mean, what are the odds of that happening? That is astronomical. I mean, her estate was in South Carolina. We live in Florida. How did this record get to the Goodwill that I was going to be at that exact day, at that exact time? That's just insane to me. But that's my crazy story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Comment below your thoughts on that, what you think. But I just thought it, was just a really cool story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And my daughters finally ended up getting something, a gift from their nanny from heaven. It's a gift from heaven. That's what I look at it as. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys have a blessed day. This is a picture of Linda and Barbara from back in the day. Linda, my daughter's grandmother, their nanny, that's her in the red, and Barbara's beside her. But I wanted to share this with you guys, this photo of them.